All right, welcome back to the More Than Different podcast. Checking in from a different location here down the Cape for the week. So things don't look familiar. If you're watching on the YouTube, that is why. And we have a great guest today, Spencer Mirken, someone I've known, a friend of mine who I've known since, Spence, like fifth, sixth grade?
It's actually not funny. I was telling that story to my dad yesterday. I remember when we first met was when I watched you play, when we played your B team. And I think it was seventh grade. And I remember you played the game before, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this kid?" Because you were killing. And I was like, I don't know if I can swear.
Oh, yeah, you can. Let it rip.
Okay, but I was just like, who is this kid? And actually, I was gonna bring that up. We have our DM back and forth, and it's hilarious. Like seventh graders, and I'm just like, what AAU team do you play for? And you're like, oh, here. And I was like, oh, I'm over here. And you're like, oh, we should link. It was just wicked funny. And I remember I was like, where does the kid play AAU? Because I wasn't really on a team like the time, and I was like, and I think you were with Magic. Yeah, I think you said that in the DM, and I was just like, I haven't really heard of them. So I think I went to play for somebody, and I was just like, I made the wrong choice because clearly you guys were super successful down the line. But it was so funny because I was telling my dad that yesterday because he's like, how long have you known BMAC? I was like, a while. It's been a while. So.
It has been a while. Well, yeah, that exactly. The New England basketball world is small, and it's cool that we obviously got to know each other at a young age, and now.
And then I get to see you play this past year.
Yeah, you're now at Keene State.
Awesome.
Which is awesome. But yeah, obviously you're doing amazing things in the basketball world with what you've done with your Spencer summer runs, which we'll get into extensively. But Spence, how are you?
Living the dream. Good to be home. Happy to be home. Good weather's getting warm. Getting beach days. You know, I can't argue. I mean, look at you down the Cape. You're living the dream. That's where I want to be right now.
No complaints, and that's the key to life. So yeah, tell a bit where you're at right now. You're at Keene State, and what are you studying? What's kind of your day-to-day over there? And tell a little people about like what you're doing.
Yep. So I go to Keene State, which is a Division III school in Keene, New Hampshire. It's kind of in the bottom left corner of New Hampshire. And over there, I get the privilege to be a student assistant coach, which is just kind of like an early kind of grad year stuff, in my opinion. It's super awesome. And the stuff I'm doing day just for basketball is just obviously what makes it so super, unique, where, I'm a young guy, but I can kind of get into that coaching realm early, whether it's scouts, recruiting, going over film, working out the guys daily. I get to do all this super awesome stuff and, work on my craft, but also help, I think what I've done with some of my guys, they'll tell you I'm doing a good job, which is great to hear, and all those realms. So, when I get older and, I'm graduating, I have that plan of like, hey, I know what I want to do, and I'm coaching. I have some concepts and philosophies, some things I like. When I'm training, I like this for my guys. And it's been really just they've taken me and then really just let me kind of do my thing over at Keene. I'm so grateful for the staff, but also the players and just the community that how friendly it is and how trusting they are with me as a 20-year-old to kind of just do my thing and let me kind of work on what I'm working on, and it seems to be working the right way. So I'm really thankful for all those guys up there, and it's been awesome.
I love it. So you alluded to it there, but you're looking to get into coaching. Is that what you want to do?
100%, and that's why I think it's awesome, because Keene gives me that these 4 years to kind of really work on experience with it a little bit, or like kind of something towards my resume if I want something like that, because I want to coach. It's something my dad did. It's something I'm just always around in basketball. And, I loved hooping, but at the end of the day, I was like, I think I'm just more on the side where I'm not on the court. I was okay with that. And Keene gave me that kind of role and that trust that I wanted to have. And so I do want to get in coaching, and so just doing everything at Keene is really just aligns right with my trajectory, like you said, where I can just kind of, hopefully go along for a while. And then right when I graduate, I already got some cool options through the runs, obviously, because that's a really good network for me. But, we have no idea where that'll take me, and I'm super excited.
Keene State's obviously, you guys got a great program. Remind me the name of your coach.
Ryan Kane.
Yeah, he's a great guy because he played at WPI, so I know I knew him a bit, and he knows my brother well. He's the all-time leading scorer at WPI, actually.
He is.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah, he's good, dude. You guys had a great team. What do you make to the Sweet 16 this year, or Elite 8?
Made it to the Sweet 16. We lost to Swarthmore.
Swarthmore, yeah. They're tough.
We beat them. We beat them the year before. A very good team, and I think they just played with a little more fire because we had beat them the year before. We weren't even supposed to be in the tournament. We beat Dartmouth, and if we didn't beat Dartmouth, we weren't going to make it in. So that's your automatic bid. Beat Dartmouth, snuck in. They completely overlooked us last year. We returned everybody besides one guy. Came back to them, and they were just ready to go. You could tell like they wanted their rematch, and they got it. So they definitely took the upper hand. But it was a crazy, awesome year. I mean, I said such a fun time. Just from watching my buddies play to watching these guys play to watching just people play across the whole United States. It's just awesome. So
it is really cool to see, like, being out. This was my freshman year, and obviously I know guys older, so I've been following them, but to see like all my AAU guys from my team, this being their freshman year, it's like you're watching so many different leagues, so many different schools. It's really cool to see because it's such a change from high school basketball or the whole New England world of AAU or the settings you're used to seeing people in, and then you see it in college. It is a dramatic shift. I can say from experience and from talking to guys. I know you get it, but you just mentioned it. Is that pivot you took from playing? And you played. You're a really good player, by the way. Always got to a bucket. All growing up through high school, you went to Holliston High, knew you wanted to get into coaching. What was that realization like? And was that difficult? Was that easy?
It was really difficult, and I think you kind of get the sense of, the COVID thing because you were around for it is just like, I'm going into my senior year and I was recruited, I would say pretty well. Like I had a bunch of spots I could have gone to. And the only thing that was like huge for me is just like in high school, we just were not good. And I never really felt like in high school I had a coach that really like cared, enough for not only the team, but for me and for getting us to play even college basketball, and I just don't think it was, I wasn't in the right spot, but that's where I was. I loved Holliston, I loved my teammates, and I loved, where I went for those 4 years. I wouldn't have even changed it if I did. But we lost. My high school record, I always tell people this and they laugh. It's like 11-50. I won 11 games in high school. Do you know how horrible that is? And the one year the one year that we were supposed to be like pretty good was senior year. I had 6 games.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we went 3-3, and I was like, great, awesome. So we didn't win games, and that was a huge thing for me. Is I was just like, I'm so tired of losing. Like we'd lose every game, and I was like so hard to keep a mindset of like we want to win today, because like after we like lost 10 games, like around usually pretty early, like not even lying, I would just be like, oh man, I'm just going to try and get mine, I guess. And that's the worst mindset. So, junior year, I was really just like trying to like be a role, like the best role guy, the best hype guy I could. And then I was just like, all right, senior year next year, like we're going to be a whole new start. Like I'm excited. We had like 6 seniors and like 4 of us, and my brother who just graduated this past year. And like 4 of us like really played a lot. And I was just like, I'm really excited. And then boom, dropped the show with COVID. And I was like, the year's going on, I'm just like, we're still losing games. It's like hard to like enjoy basketball. You're part of it. It's like, you're like wearing a mask. You can't walk in during the free throws. It's the little things where I'm just like, man, this is like a lot. And I had a bunch of spots I could have gone to, but they weren't really winning at those schools. And again, that was my thing. And, Pat Freeman, a good buddy of mine, he's like, hey, I'm going to Keene State, whatever. And I was like, hey, I got into Keene. And I was like, looking into it. And I was like, they win. I emailed Coach Kane. He's like, we don't have a spot for you, but I can give you kind of, like a manager role. And I was like, honestly, I'm cool with that because I know I could take it to another level. And I was like, I love just being around basketball and coaching, and I'm okay with letting it go because this team wins. I'd rather be a part of something that, is really going to succeed than, go play for 4 more years and I'm losing. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like, what did I do? What am I doing? Especially all the time and effort you put into it. And, so, I really kind of was like sitting down with my family. I was like, I think I'm going to go to Keene. Coach gave me kind of that manager role, and I'm cool with that, to be honest. And Pat's going. I knew some of the guys. I was familiar with some of the guys because they're all pretty much mask guys. I know you probably played against like some of them in high school or something, or you recognize them. So I was just like, whatever, I'm going to go. And I loved it. It turned out to be everything I could have wanted it to be, and doing that manager stuff for the first year, I was really already doing what I was doing. So I didn't really care. And now I kind of got that title of student assistant, which is kind of just a fancy term for manager. But I love what I do, and what they let me do is just with like the whole free range of literally like just training. I do so much recruiting through the runs, which is awesome. Just the connection is great. All that scouting and breaking down film, watching film with my teammates. Like I watch film with Octavio all the time. We break it down. That's awesome. And just like that whole process, it was a lot because I was just like, dang, like when you get there and I'm just like, dang, like I'm not playing. Like wow. Yeah. So like. And like it'd be funny because like I'd tell a lot of my boys. I think probably I first told you like I'm just going to Keene. I'm not playing. And everybody's like, "Damn, Spence, like you love basketball, like what?" And I was like, "I know, but I don't want to go through that whole thing. Like I'm just a guy where I hate losing. I wasn't the greatest winner on the court, and obviously if I could get a buck here and there, I still do that in men's league, so people will see that. But I was just like going through, and I was just like, hey, I think I'm just gonna take that role.
That route. I love that, to be able to redirect, and people struggle with that, and it's definitely something that everyone is faced with at some point or another, whether it's going to be after people are done playing, where they've poured everything into being a player and then they don't know what they want to do. Like that is one of the greatest challenges we all face, and that's what, like, finding this brand More Than Different, starting this, that's been one of those ways. Like I was basketball my whole childhood, high school. Like that's all only way I thought. The measurement of a good day for me was how much did I put into playing, to working out, to lifting. Did I wake up early to go to the gym? Was I slacking? Was I lazy? And now I still do all that work, but I view my day or my success through a different lens, because there's so much more you need to be able to see and what you're able to do. And you clearly have did that, and you found a place you love and you feel appreciated at, and you've been able to kind of get creative and figure out more about what you can do. And you've taken that into another avenue, which we'll get into right now. So was it right around COVID you started up Spencer Summer Runs? Is that right?
Mm-hmm. It is true.
It was right true. I remember. I was at one of those first ones. I think I brought up a big group, and yeah, it was in its nascent phases, and now it's the hot hub of New England basketball. So tell a bit about that. Tell more about that.
Yeah, like you said, right at like middle of COVID, probably like a month after they canceled school. Like I'm just playing kind of day to day with my buddies from Millis, and I'm just, it was like, but like my Millis crew is like 5 of us. I'm like, this is just like not enough to like, I want to play, like I want to get up and down. And so one day I'm literally like, I'm just going to text every single kid I know that like lives a town over, or like 2 towns over, that has a car that I know will come over here and play. So I probably texted like 75 people, and I'm just like, hey, I'm going to be here today. We're playing. I got like 15 dudes. I just told everybody 15 dudes. So it's because I didn't think anybody was really going to pull through. And people are like texting me back, and like it's crazy because that's right when I learned like how much the basketball community talks to each other. Yeah. Because like everybody is like, yeah, I'm going over to this run with Spence today. Like, do you want to come? And they're all like talking to each other from the town to town. They're all like, yeah, sure. So like there's this tiny court in Millis, which is where I live, and like there's not even a corner 3, but it's like really nice. Like it's like just a super nice clean backboard, like glass backboards, like fenced in, just a really nice court. And I'm texting everybody, and like I don't even know what to expect. They got like 8 dudes from Millis, and I'm like, all right, whatever. And so like people come, and we just start playing. And as I start playing, like people are walking over this hill to get to the court, and like I'm like, damn, like we're just like playing. And like probably like after an hour, there's like 35 people on this one court, and I'm like we're just going up and down. So that's the problem, because like people are just waiting. But like that was the thing. Like you do that nowadays, you're like, I'm leaving if I lose one game. Right. Like people weren't doing that. Like,
but there was no runs going on then.
There's nowhere to play basketball. Like nowhere. Like you can't even go to a store. This is like when everything was literally shut down, and like people were like, all right, I'm waiting. And so we started playing at like 1, and we literally like played competitively. Like every game was like, people get tired too after hoop sessions. The last couple games are gross. Like there was none of that. Yeah. Like everybody was just playing hard. till the sun went down at 8 p.m. And I was like, wow, like this was fun. I had a lot of fun today because I'm still in the mix of like, do I want to play college? You know, a lot of these guys play college. There's all this stuff going on, and people are driving by us screaming like, "You're an idiot! What are you guys doing?" Like all these moms, it was crazy. Like you could ask all the guys that were there. Like people are like driving by. One lady pulls her car over, is taking pictures of us like we did something illegal, and I'm like, "What is going on?" And we're just still playing. Like we weren't stopping, and the people across the street, who are historically not like the biggest basketball fans, but they live next to a basketball court, so I don't know what they expect, but they call the cops, and the cop is the head basketball coach at Millis.
No way.
So, like, yeah, so he's like coming over, and he's like, "Yeah, just like stand 6 feet away. You guys aren't doing anything illegal. I can't stop you." And he's like, "We're like, okay," and like we're just all hooping all day. And so I go home, and all my buddies were like, "That was so fun!" Like I was like, "I'm gonna make like an Instagram page and just start like posting." And it went from, you know, playing like that, and then you were at the first ever indoor one, where like that was just like, you know, I had a connection to get inside. He was like, "Hey, if you can get the guys to pay for it, I'll let you in because we need money, and you know, we can keep it a little low key." And I was like, "Sure." And so I had like 2 courses. Like I'll get like 30 dudes. That's cool. And texted all you guys, and you were at the first one, and that one was heated. I remember that one. Like you had the Nobles boys, and you played Regis, and I remember Regis was like, they kind of always been like that. Those are my guys. They've always been like a little chippy. And, you know, Reed was a pretty big name. He's on the court. You, Reed, Keene. I forget who you had. You
had like, a couple other like teammates. They're on like basketball players, but yeah.
I remember. And it was just like after the first 3, I'm watching it and I hear a kid like, "Step up, motherfucker." And I was just like, well, 1, you don't do that to BMAC, and 2, you don't do that to Reed because they'll go right back at you because you guys play with that fire too. And I was like, oh, okay. And you guys are going at it. I remember you went to the rim, you laid this kid, and then he pushed you. I remember that. I don't know if you remember it. I just remember because it was my first ever indoor one. And I was like, damn, is there gonna be a fight at my first run? You guys, I don't think you guys got off the court. I think you ran the court the whole day.
Yeah, we did. We had a good run. Yeah,
you guys were the team to beat. You guys were the team to beat. It was crazy. It was just like we were there for like, I don't know, 2 hours, and I was like, well, now I got an indoor spot. This is crazy. So, all right, let's see. And then, you know, it just started going, and a lot of help was actually from Bobby Summers because, you know, he was doing media at the time. He like started it, but his connections were like really big. He would help me get a gym. He knew a lot. Like the kids he was filming wanted to run. So those were all like all the people he was filming are some of the best dudes in Mass. And it would just like literally just piece together. Like it just goes from 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. And, you know, I've just continued to like build it. And now it's at the point where like I couldn't even imagine this. The dudes that are coming through is like dudes that are going to be future pros. Like I had the big kid from BC, Quentin Post, there the other night. He's going to be drafted next year, projected at least to. Caravan was there. I mean, TJ Power, like those are 3 huge names. And it's just crazy because like you tell me this when I started this when I was like 17. Like I would have been like, what? Like, so it's just like nuts. It just like builds and builds. And I'm very fortunate to, you know, have so many great connections with everybody and the support from not only the basketball community, but from my friends in the basketball community. It's just been like crazy. Like it wouldn't be as big as it was without everybody who attends it and the media people I have so much love for because they're the ones publishing it. So it's just
they
like,
promote it.
Yeah, so it just builds and builds and builds, and it's been so awesome. Like the start to the summer has already been crazy. I think we're on a really good track. You know, I started a YouTube for it, and I'm posting like on random social media too to see how that goes. But just like posting the guys on Instagram, and you know, it's been just incredible, and people want to just keep getting in. And it's so hard is the only problem. Like I'm sure everybody wants to know this question, which I'll get into. Like I'm sure you'll ask it down the line. But like it's just been so hard to get everybody in. Because that's just not how it works at the end of the day. Like it's like if you're running a business for MTD, you're running your business, like you want the best people to represent you possible that are like reliable, but also like the people that are just going to like promote you in the right way. Yeah. And, you know, that is with the high major guys like that come through, or the pros or the future pros or the really elite high school dudes, like, or like a lot of my friends still, but like, those are the people that are promoting me. And there's a lot of people that DM me like, hey, when's the next run? I try, like I really try. It's just it's just hard because, when I'm putting it together, this random kid in my DM is not the first kid I think of off the top of my head.
No.
And, it's just it's very competitive. It's not like it's just like dudes are running. Like, it's just like it's tough.
Yeah. Well, here's and I'm sure you've learned this, and I've learned it as well in business and in your life when you're picking people that you want around you, and you need to be able to say no. You need to master the art of saying no at certain times, because otherwise people will just walk all over you, or they'll take advantage. And I'm sure you get that, especially during those early days. But again, it's so cool to see, because again, I was at that first one, and I was at just to see it grow and how it's been just over the years. I remember year to year, I was at the first summer and then the next summer, and it was like, oh my God.
And you'll be back soon.
I'll be back soon. Yeah. It's like, it was 1 court or 2 courts, then it was 4 courts. It's pretty incredible to see. So I'm so happy for you to see the success. Now, is it a business? Would you call it a business, or is it more of just
a
community?
I would call it a business because of the merchandise.
Okay. So is that how you make money, or do you still
there's that, and then when I do the open runs, I'll charge through that, and then now when I get to the YouTube earnings, I'll be making money off that, so I'll have 3 incomes. But the merch is the main reason, and that is like killer. Like, that sells out for me so fast, and that's awesome because, like I said, you guys all support it, so that's why I do it. The white one will be here soon. I'll definitely send you one, and it's been like just crazy. It's just like, I just build it up, and it's like playable in, like, I got one of my really good friends is Reed Bailey. He like warmed up in it all year, and it's just like he plays at Davidson, so it's like you got that. And I mean, like, Jabari Nurse wears it all the time. He's playing at Pace. It's just like different parts of the country now. Judson Martindale's a really good friend of mine, who also I'm really thankful for, because he's helped me network to some of those older guys really well. And he wears it at Pacific, so it's like, it's just all over, and that's why it's awesome, and those guys really support it. So
yeah, I mean, you got high demand now, so you might be able to start even if you, I mean, I think through the lens of a businessman, or I've been forced to, because I need to figure out ways to build a business. So hey, I mean, you could charge, even you're getting 50 people at these runs, you charge even $5, because it is annoying. Like, I remember those early runs you had. I hit up a couple of people, like, asking to go, and I said, it's whatever you charge, $15-$20 or something, and people are like just penny pinchers, like, oh no. It's like, dude, but it takes courage to start something like this and be the one to organize things. So I say that because I just have so much respect for it, because I know the challenge and the frustration with people who are like, the amount of people who ask me for free merch. I'm like, fuck you. Like,
it's not how it works.
It's not how it works. It's not how, unfortunately, I love to be able to get to a point where I can give a lot of merch to the people I want to, but
totally.
It's not how it works. So yeah, I mean, keep doing what you're doing, man. It's special to see.
I think the merch whole piece is like, of course I give some away, but to those very few who I know are going to take it to another level that it hasn't hit yet. Yeah. And I think I save 5 shirts every time I do an order of 55 first. So only 5 I'm giving away.
Yeah.
And
right.
People who are like, oh, yo, let me get one. I'm like, well, if you clearly like it, then you'd support me and you'd pay for it.
You're right. Bingo.
And instead of they're like, oh, like the pink ones that are what was it called, like orchid? I don't know if you've seen those, but like
orchid, light purple. It's a beautiful color.
Everybody loved, like, those went way crazier than I ever could have like even imagined. Like, everybody was calling me like, these are awesome. I really want one. I'm like, okay, great. So $20. Like, I feel like $20 is not a lot for a t-shirt.
Oh, that's cheap, dude. That's cheap.
That's what I'm saying. And everybody's like, like, you got me? And I'm like, no.
No.
Dude, I don't. Like, I can't. Like, that's just me wasting money. So, like, my first year I was bad with giving away the free stuff. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm new to it. And when you're first starting out, I was okay with it, because like, I need some of these guys to wear it so they can build. And then last year I was just like, nah, this is all just I'm
Yeah. Well,
selling all
now I
this
tell
stuff.
you, you're in high demand now. So don't let
Now,
anyone
so
walk over you. I've been
now
there,
they're like,
and people who don't have the same issue don't understand, and I wish they would, because and that's
"Mhm,
why you have so much appreciation for the people who do support it. You're even if they're your best friend or your family,
yeah,
like I yeah. Like shout out Mike Lockney. I know you're boys with him, but Mike's always like if I even offered him a shirt, he'd be like, "No, I'm paying for that." Like I appreciate
yeah,
that so much, and a lot of my best
I
friends,
know,
and the ones who are like, "Yo, let me get a hoodie," I'm like, "Are you really my boy?" Like,
yeah, like
you know what I mean? This is something that
you
means a
support me.
lot to me, so support it. Yeah, but if you
Like,
don't
it's
want
not
to
like
support
you're
it, it's
charging,
fine. But
yeah, it's not like you're charging $100 for a tee too. You know, it's like
no, not at all.
20, 25, 30, especially at our age. Everybody's got a job now. Like
Yeah,
you can pay that. Like I don't need to hear from you. Oh, I can't do that. You know,
I know.
so
And it's just a bad look if you're just wicked cheap too. Like the
I
older we're
know.
getting, I mean, we're still young, but like we're to the point where you
It's
be able to fund for yourself a little bit, and people don't
yeah,
realize if you're like can't pay for if you want asking for a shirt, but then you can't pay $20, $15. It's just a weird look to me. I don't know.
right. And right. And I think, there some of my guys have that stuff for free. Like I hope this, this goes to show like I really know you'll take it to that next level. And I appreciate you guys because I know you either, you wear it consistently, you're at a place where I need people to see it, or, you're just a huge name. That's really kind of my stuff. So it's like there's very limited of you guys out there that have that for free.
Yeah,
And
it's just
people that
marketing.
support the people that support it, I'm super thankful for you guys too. But it goes both ways. They're like, I can't just like pay $600 for a batch of shirts and then, oh, here you guys go. Like that just lost $600
Yeah,
or
no,
whatever.
you don't even. Yeah, yeah, no, not at all. You
No
can't
point.
do that. Not when money's
So
involved. But so, what is the goal with Spencer Summer Runs? I mean, it's been 4 years in the making now, and is this something you
yeah,
just want to continue to do, and this will always be a side thing, or what?
I mean, this is the question I've been getting recently. Is everybody's like, what are you doing with it? And I'm like, I have no idea, but I do have an idea, and this is the dream: is making a pro-am next summer. Because in Boston, one, I could do it, and two, oof, that would be a killer.
That'd be sick.
So I fortunately yesterday ran into some of, I didn't run into them, but like I met, I know some of the right people. They all work for Marcus Smart, and I think I might be able to get him and his organization to fund it for next summer. And we're looking, he actually, my guy just said, can I call you? Lot to process, but that is kind of the goal, is like to keep run still, because, that's what kind of like people are looking for. And the program would be like once a week, but to keep the runs, just kind of as long as I can. I think, when I'm coaching one day, I might have to drop it unless they're all college or pro guys,
Yeah,
which
right,
sucks.
right.
But, I want to keep that going, obviously, as long as I can. But to really start that freaking, pro-am would be just
That'd be
unbelievable.
amazing.
I
That would
look at
be
you, got the
amazing.
smile on your face already. It'd be all college and pro guys. It'd be at Brandeis. I already got it all mapped out on the main court at Brandeis.
Yeah, it's a
Just make
great
it
court.
super, super fire, and just make it like, just like a pro-am. Like I think that Boston is too underrated with like, some of this talent, and same with Rhode Island and New Hampshire even, and even like Connecticut. I could get those guys too. And I just think that there's so many good hoopers in the Northeast, and there's nothing like that. And I just think
Yeah,
that would be incredible. So I want to start that. There's a lot that goes into it. I was telling Mike about it yesterday, and he was like, that would be insane, and we'll see. But that's the goal, is to have a pro-am by next summer. And for now, just continue to keep the runs up and really kind of get to a point where maybe get an NBA guy this summer is kind of the goal. I have some of those future guys, but I want a dude who's literally in it right now, which would be incredible.
that would be amazing. Well, you got the goals. That's step one, is set the goals,
Yeah,
and then you figure out the steps to make it happen, and
yeah,
you're already doing that. So that would be amazing.
yes,
I know that would be the ticket of the summer, and that would be another. That's just all business. Everything's
all
business. So
all business. But the thing is just I think we're on the right track for it. I met the right people for it. I've got the platform and the whole just basketball New England. Like I think I know almost everybody nowadays. So it's like I got all those dudes in this hand. I just needed the funding. I think obviously Marcus Smart's organization definitely has that funding. So I think hopefully we can connect and collect and make the right things happen. Obviously, this is a total idea, and I hope when I look back on this next summer, I can be like, we did it, but we'll see. But that's the goal, is to
yeah,
start a pro-am, and that that'd be the dream.
Well, we have the receipts here, so next summer when it happens, we'll
We're
bring
gonna
this back to
staple it.
yeah. We'll have this bookmarked. How important has advocating for yourself been? Because you're communicating with all these people. The name of the game, especially in basketball, is so much of the time in the community is networking. So how have you advocated for yourself? How important has that been? Because obviously there's going to be people who turn you down or don't give you the light of day, but
Right.
you have to just keep going up to bat for yourself.
Right. I mean, it's like, it's really interesting because, you know, like a lot of people, when I put it together, I don't think they understand that. Like I would say I know basketball pretty well. You know, I'm training college guys every day. I think I can talk about basketball at a high level for a long time. And I think a lot of people kind of don't understand that, you know, like when I'm putting it together, and that's fine. But it's just funny because I think, you know, like I meet people sometimes and they'll be quiet. Like I'll invite them to my run. And the thing I hate is when I just can't talk to someone that I'm inviting. You know, like I want to sit down and talk to you about where you are, your story, if you're high major, if you're high school, what's going on. Like I've met a lot of college coaches, even if you're in high school, I can kind of help you network. Like I know all the right people now, and I can kind of be like, hey, coach, you should look at this kid, almost at all three levels. And I think that there's some times where people come in and they just just say hi and like hide the rest of the time. And like for me, sure, it's fine, you're here, go play. But like also for me, it's like I want to talk to everybody. Like I want to have that relationship with you. And you know, so sometimes, like I said, there's those people that like they'll dap you up and be like, all right, just dipping, and I'll just be like, okay, sure. And I won't chase anybody, but like you're here representing me, so I want you guys to play. But like, you know, I want to talk to people too. And I think you know, that's happened a few times. Not as much this summer really, but like last summer I can remember a lot of instances where kids are like, you know, wanting to come. I invite them and they're just like, they don't even like, also the thing, like they'll leave and not say thank you or anything. That drives me nuts. That still happens.
Yeah, trust me.
That still happens. The right people, like I keep a mental note almost like all the time. Like there's very few people I let slide with that. And like, that's just like a little thing to me where like, all you got to do is be like, hey, Spence, thanks for the run. Like I'm the one getting the gym. I'm putting all the teams together. I'm literally texting every single kid to make sure they can come. And it's annoying because I feel annoying all the time where I'm like texting kids all the time. And I'm sure they're like, oh, Spence is texting me again. But like at the end of the day, I know people want to run and you guys represent me. And then having this kid at that run would be huge for me, whatever. So it's like, it's just like, you know, all you got to do is like talk to me a little bit, like act like, you know, you are happy you're here and say thank you. And I'd be happy at the end of the day.
Just the bare minimum.
And, you know, I think there's very few kids, you know, that say no. Everybody seems to be super nice on like, you know, text or whatever. But there's like a couple kids that like, you know, be like, oh, no, or like, I can't. And then like, I'll get a text from like a week later, like, yo, when's the next round? Because they'll see I just had it on social media. And everybody's like, damn, I should have went. And like, that's the stuff that's funny to me because it's just like, you know, like people act like I'm not inviting them. Like, you know, like I'll see, like there's this one kid I saw and he's like, yo, like Spence, what's the way with the runs? I was like, well, I just invited you last week. You couldn't come. And he was like, yeah, but I'll be at the next one. And I was like, well, is it because you saw it on social media? And I asked him, he was like, yeah, well, yeah, I didn't know those guys were going to be there. And I was like, well, you told me no, so I wasn't going to tell you who was going. So it's like,
yeah,
you know,
we had the MTD tourney last summer and it went great.
Yeah, awesome.
And it
went
really well. And same thing happened. So we ended up getting a lot of great players out and
you guys
have a lot of those relationships, but same thing. I hit up a ton of people, other people. It's because we were hunting for 8 teams and we had like 6 locked and then we were a couple balked the night before, which pissed me off.
Don't get me started on that.
Oh my God. Or one balked and then a couple players couldn't come. But then it was going well and a bunch of people like posted stories about it and I had stories on MTD. And I get a couple like texts midday being like, yo, like you still got a spot in that. I'm like, I literally asked you through like a month and a half in advance if you wanted to put a team in. Again, same kind of deal. It was like, it's $100 a team. So in other words, if you get 6, 7 guys, if you want, you're paying $15 a guy, like to play it against good players and support a good cause. It's going to be a cool event. And then it's like, they go ghost. A couple kids went ghost. Then they hit me up the day of. I'm like, dude, I asked you. Like, what is this?
I'm glad you can relate to it.
I can relate.
Like, the amount of times, like, I get it. The night before doesn't kill me because like I'm not trying to be an asshole, but like everybody's pretty replaceable for me. No offense to everybody. Like
Yeah.
you drop, I can find another kid that's gonna come who's almost as good or maybe even better. And that's just kind of how it is. Is because I'm just very well connected where I know a lot of people now where I can just be like, all right, this kid lives over here. I'm just going to text him. He'll be like, yep, I'll be there. And I'll be like, boom, solved. But the ones like I've gotten a couple of lists this summer where it's literally like no text at all that they're not coming. So that makes me look horrible because then I have a team of 4 and these 4 dudes are like, now I got to pick up one. Everybody loves their team and like doesn't want to leave, doesn't want to split. Or like I'll get a text 5 minutes before the run. And I'm like, all right, like, are you kidding me? Like this is just ridiculous. And it's like, I'm glad you can relate because that is super annoying. Like I don't feel like I'm an asshole, but like, all you got to do is be like, hey, Spence, I'm not going to make it. Thanks. Let me know the next one. And I'll be like, cool.
No, absolutely.
Awesome.
It's a low bar and it's infuriating when people can't reach it. So it is what
I hope you run back to MCD.
Yeah, we are. It is August.
I got there. I think I got there like an hour-ish late, but I was like, stay the whole day. I was so excited. Boom, starts raining. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, I know. So, we got a lot of it in, and then right when it was like semifinals, it starts raining for 10 minutes too. It's like a quick storm. That's with outdoor courts. That's all it had to be. So it is what it is. We're excited. Yeah, we got it back August 19th this summer.
I might have to put a team in.
Yes. No. Exactly.
I might have to put a team in.
Definitely get a team. Well, let's do it.
I might have to get
a little Spence summer run sponsorship. We can put him on the back. Let's do it. We'll talk.
I'm with it 100%.
Let's do it. Well, one last question, and then I got a quick segment. But what does success look like to you in 5 years? You'll be, 3 years removed? You're going to be a junior at Keene State this fall. So you'll be a few years out of college. What does success look like to you? Where do you envision yourself?
Success to me looks like I am head coaching at a small high school because that's what I want to do right when I get out. I want to skip that whole little assistant phase, and that's going to be very difficult because I know a lot of people who, go assist for like 7 years and then they get the head job. I don't really care where I head. I just want to get it immediately. So when I go for a bigger job, I can say I have that experience. And that's going to be difficult, but it's something I really want to work towards. And I think my resume is getting to a really good point where hopefully I can just walk in one day, but that's not what I'm expecting at all. I got to still continue to build my resume and build my networks and relationships. And so I definitely would just be coaching. I want to stay in the high school realm, at least for now. I hate the NCAA. That's my biggest thing is there's just so much to deal with it. I'm sure you're starting to see this whole year with just regulation times and all this stuff. I don't want to do it. So high school, just coaching, head coaching somewhere. I want to have that pro-am in the summer, and then if I had the runs with pure D1 or not even D1, just pure NBA pro guys, that would be pretty successful to me. And I think slightly after those 5 years, I want to kind of start into building up an AAU program, at least down the line. And that's why I love hanging around Coach Karate. He's done also. I'm thankful for him too. He's done a great job, kind of showing me the ropes, and I love being around the Magic program. So hopefully, I can kind of take some of his concepts and some of what he applies, and maybe branch out off my own direction one day.
Awesome. Well, there's no doubt you can get there. You're on the right path. That's for sure, Spence. Keep it up. All right, we got a little final segment. We got to talk a little hoops. We'll make it short, but it's I've seen it on social media, but I made my own. So start, bench, cut. All right, I got 2 different examples, and then I have a hypothetical trade, whether you do it or not. So we'll go start, bench, cut. Jimmy Butler, Devin Booker, Jason Tatum.
Wow. I would probably I'm a big defensive guy, and the worst defender of those 3 is probably Booker, in my opinion, so I'd probably cut him. After what I just saw, I probably would start Jimmy, but the consistency is a little scary. Actually, Tatum is way worse consistency, so I would start Jimmy for sure. And then I would probably bench Tatum just because his frame also is very intriguing. He might not be a great defender, but he gets out there because he's so freaking big.
Long. He stepped it up defensively this year. It's a bummer. I
agree. I think
it's such a bummer that he got hurt last. The Heat way outplayed the Celtics
on a mission. I love Caleb Martin.
Yeah, he stepped up, and you need those guys. You need guys who can shot create. Yeah. And you could tell he was playing. There was such a no one would have put pressure or expectation on him, And so as a result, like as a hooper, that just frees you up so much. You're not thinking. It's like if he missed those shots, to be quite frank, that's kind of what people expect. Yeah. So once you start hitting them, it's like every next shot you take, people still think I should miss it. And it's like as a shooter, your confidence is sky high.
I mean, yeah, I've been like, you can ask a lot of my buddies. I've been literally like saying I've been a fan of him for like a little while, like now, probably throughout the playoffs, not really in the season, but like I was just like people would be like, oh, like what do you think of the Heat? I'm like, I'm terrified of Caleb Martin.
Yeah.
And it kind of came to show just because, not even because of like, more just because of the 3-and-D aspect. Like before, it was like literally like I'm running the floor, I'm getting to spots, I'm hitting fadeaways, I'm in the post, and I'm literally like doing all this extra stuff. Like I was just terrified because like he literally was just like, I'm gonna guard you like a motherfucker, and then I'm gonna stick the open threes, because for some reason the first couple games were just like letting him shoot, and I'm like, all right, like what are we doing? But I'd probably start Butler. I mean, that dog mentality is just something people don't even like. You can't even train for. It's just something you kind of have clearly shown. And I think we threw him off his game for a little minute. It didn't matter. He was on a mission. They were all on a mission. They came out just like, yeah, we're not gonna fuck this up. And then I'd bench Tatum, and then Booker's great, obviously too. But I just think he's the worst defender of the three. So I'd probably bench.
He did. I will say he was locking up in that what was it, first round series against the Clippers. He was playing. You could tell he made it a point, but he turns it on and off, and you can't turn it on and off.
Yeah, like I'd rather you be a lack offensively than a lack defensively. That's just how I am. It's like because defense can lead to offense. So that's
all right. Well, this next question will be interesting. See whether you're consistent with your answer. Start, bench, cut. Giannis, Embiid, Jokic.
Wow. Oh, that's a very, very tough one. I think Embiid was the MVP last year, and I think Jokic was the MVP this year. I think they should have flipped.
Yeah, I can agree.
I think with that, I would probably start. Wow. I'd probably start Giannis. I just like if I'm just building a team, I think I'm taking Giannis before anybody else. I mean, that dude is unbelievable. You don't even need a bag. That's what he just runs to the rim. Doesn't matter. Can't stop it. Everybody's like, oh, he has no bag. I'm like, who cares? He's putting up like 30 a game. He's literally doesn't need
30,
one. Like,
30, and 12, yeah.
Yeah, like whatever he was. And I probably would start Giannis. Yeah, I would start Giannis, and then I'd probably bench. I'd probably bench Jokic, and I'd probably cut him.
Okay. Yeah, I'd probably be similar. I don't know. I might put Giannis in the bench spot, and then I mean the way Jokic is playing, it's just
that's true. It's all like
he's a bit of and he's not terrible defensively, but he's not a rim protector, and you can hunt him and target him in the pick and roll. But he's decent. Right. He gets it. Like they don't play drop with him because then his
IQ is so good.
Yeah, but he just he knows he just sees things.
If he sees that pick and roll coming, like he's gonna talk you through it the whole time. Like you can kind of trust it a little bit. Like he'll get like you put him in a 1-on-1 with one of the best guards in the league, he's gonna get fried for sure. But he's got that IQ where if he gets switched on, he'll put him one way, they'll double it, and he'll switch out of it. Like it's like
he knows that.
So I would trust that. Embiid, I just think that injuries is not something I'd want to deal with. So
all right,
I think he's a dog too. Like those are all dogs. That's a tough one for sure.
All right, and then the little hypothetical here: Celtics lost in Game 7, brutal, had a chance to make history. So now this is going to be a talking point, especially after Jaylen Brown had an unfortunate Game 7. Not going to take away from the season he had. He was second team All NBA stud. I love him, but now the talks are going to happen. Would you do Lillard for
my
Brown?
Buddy just talking? Wow, that's funny.
Lillard for Brown, and then you'd probably have to throw something else in there. So maybe even Lillard for Brown and Smart.
That's too much.
All right, Lillard for Brown. Would you do Lillard for Brown?
I think that's an easy, in my opinion. It's funny because I literally talked to Mike just texted me, JB for Dame. And I just said to my boys. I just said to my boys last night. I would really look into that Lillard trade now. I
Okay,
just
what
think.
if we had to throw Brogdon in there too?
Oh man, I love Brogdon.
Because we'd have to throw something else in there. There's no way they do. Maybe because Brown's 26, Dame is 33 or 34. Yeah. So like Dame realistically has, and he's at his, I'd say, peak, maybe a little past, but like not past. He's still in his his prime. He's still in his prime years, but he's probably got 2-3 more years. Like he's an injury away from being cooked a little bit.
I agree.
But
I just don't.
He's nasty.
I don't think that the guard is our problem.
I think
agree. I think it's the big. I hate Horford. I'm the biggest Horford hater.
You're not a Horford fan? I didn't like how he shot so many. It's as if Missoula had like a agenda for him. He had to shoot X amount per game because he was just firing them unconsciously.
Right. The thing I just hate is like. He's old. He is, and I like that he can the reason we play him so much is because he can pull the big away from the basket, which does free up space. But like that's not even how the Celtics play. Like we just chuck. So it's like, all right, sure. I know. So it's like we don't even have that big. We don't even need a big away from the basket because like we're not going to the rim. Like we should go to the rim. That's when we show that we're winning. But like we don't. We just like Tatum was getting to the rim in Game 6, and we were killing. Like we were playing great.
I know.
And then we just got away from that. So Horford, I don't think he's like bad shooter, but every time he shoots, I get nervous, which is like not something I want.
You don't think it's going, and that's my thing with Brown too. Brown clearly has put in so many reps, and like he's become a good NBA shooter. But it's still he's not a natural shooter. You can tell. Like, his misses,
his body
some of the
is so
misses.
Weird.
Yeah, it is.
Like the way he puts his back out almost, and like I don't even know how he shoots. It's so weird.
I totally agree. His head goes back, the back goes straight. He shoots it on the way down. There's a ton of rotation.
It's so strange.
No, I agree.
But Horford, I would I don't think Brown is necessarily, but I think Horford is just more the problem. And I think Rob is great, but he's not a starter right now. Still, he's so raw, and he does a lot of those pieces well. But I think I would probably be on I don't know if Marketing can play the 5, but I'd be all over him maybe if we're gonna play that 5 out.
Okay, that wouldn't be. Yeah, wow, Brown for Marketing.
If we're gonna play that 5 out type of role, I would package Horford, and I don't know about Brown necessarily, but I would just test the market on just a younger guy who's a little better of a defender. Like Al gets fried by a big who can move. So it's like you see him with Bam, even Embiid, he was struggling. Embiid's a massive body, so it's a little different. So is Bam, but Bam is more of a guard type of play, and Embiid is that a little bit. So I think Horford's just so flat-footed. He's too slow. He's just old, and he doesn't he's not a shot blocker either. So it's I would test the market if it's a guy who's a better shooter who's going to do that and is a little bit better of a defender, and I would be on something like that. JB does I would probably get rid of him. I mean, I would just blow the spot up. It just clearly is not working. What is this year? 6 or something?
Well, you could say it's not working, but at the same time,
in the playoff atmosphere,
so much success. They have made it. But they haven't gotten over the hump. But to overly magnify that, I don't know. I think they may need to run it back one more time with, like you said, I do think they need to get a couple ancillary pieces.
Funny, because I went on a podcast with my guy Dan Bennett 2 years ago, so long ago when I first started the runs, and he was like, "What do the Celtics need to win a championship?" And I said, "Malcolm Brogdon," and we got him, and I was like, "Oh my God, we're gonna do it," because we were balling, and then I was just "Damn!" But I had it clipped and everything. I was ready to post it right when they win. But I do like Brogdon. I mean, he clearly was just not himself. I thought
at all.
Derek White really did step up, and I mean, the only thing I I just don't see the Heat. I don't see Gabe Vincent. I don't see Kevin Love. I don't see them playing against it how they did in any other series. I think they were just at a peak, and they're going to get – and Martin too. I think Martin kind of shows a little consistency, but Vincent had fucking – I don't even know. I think he shot 40-something% from 3 in this series. The Celtics were 20% every game, so it's
so bad.
I know. So I just think people want – I think the Celtics bring out – a little bit more of that sense of urgency. So I don't really know. I guess we'll see.
We will.
But I would target that big. I really don't know what's going to happen. Everybody's talking about it. I mean, I would probably be in the mix for Brown, and I'd be looking for a big. I don't think I need Dame. I think Dame would be a really good piece, but I just also think our problem is that we literally just live and die by the three. And when you're hitting, that's a great thing to do. But when you're missing, that shows.
You're screwed. Yeah, I know.
So I think
especially in that game 7, you can't live and die by the three. Like you got to find other ways.
You add Dame, and then you're just like a little bit like, oh, well, we kind of just feed into that problem. So
yeah, that's a good point. Well, we'll find out. Well, Spence, thanks for coming on the pod. This was an unreal episode. I hope all our listeners enjoy. You're still at this point, and let's figure out what we're doing for the MTD tourney. Get the Spence 100%. Summer runs, a little collab, and I'll be at a run soon. You let me know, and I'll be there. I'm on a streak.
Hit me right when you get back.
I will, brother. Great to talk to you. Keep doing what you're doing. It's awesome to see your success. I'm happy for you. And I speak for everyone in New England Hoops. They're so appreciative of the space you've provided, both to help them and help yourself. So keep it up, and we'll be in touch, brother.
Of course, brother, man. Good to talk to you, and I'll hit you up.
Always is. Take care, Spence.